Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to identify the key features of a graph. Okay, in particular, a quadratic function, as you can tell already since I have a parabolic shape. So now, let me show you how to get all of these 5 key features. So let's begin with concavity. So if you remember from class or lecture, concavity basically just is asking if the parabola is facing up or if it's facing down. So here it should be clear to us that the parabola is facing up. So we say for concavity, this is going to be concave up. Alright, let's move on to the y-intercept. So here, the horizontal line here, this is called our x axis. On the other hand, this vertical line is called our y axis. Alright, so our y-intercept is basically our 0 term. So when x equals 0, what is the value of y? So here we can just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So -7. Okay. So again, our y-intercept is when x is 0, what is my y value? And as you saw here, when x is 0, our y value went down to -7. Okay. Another way to think about this is where the function cuts the y-axis, or when this parabola cuts the y-axis. That's our y-intercept. 0, -7. Our x value is 0. Our y value is -7. Now let's go for the x-intercepts. So here, our x-intercepts are going to be the opposite of our y-intercepts. So now we want to see where the parabola cuts the x-axis. So here we can see that the parabola hits the x-axis at this point and at this point right there. So let's count. This is +1, +2, +3, and wow, this is not really visible, but here can do better. Okay, so this is 3, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Okay, so when and then here let's write it as a point. So our x-intercepts, let's do this one first. Here let's go back to red. Our x-intercept was at 3. And notice that when x is 3, the value of y is 0. Because look, there's no height or there's no decrease in y. X just stays there. So the x-intercept is 3, 0. Right? X is 3, y is 0. And then our other x-intercept, can you guess it? It's going to be -5 and then 0. So this one's going to be -5, 0. When x is -5, y is 0. Those are x-intercepts. Let's do the vertex first, and then we'll come back to the axis of symmetry. So our vertex is going to either be our maximum or our minimum. So by looking at this parabola, we can tell that it's never going to have a maximum, right? We're under the assumption that this parabola is going to go on forever from both sides, so it can never attain a maximum. On the other hand, it's going to reach a minimum. Okay, and it's going to be right there. That is going to be our minimal point. Okay, so I'm going to kind of also draw a line and you'll understand why. in a bit. So at this point, the parabola kind of gets cut in half, okay, and it becomes a mirror image of itself, okay. So we're going to say that this parabola has a minimum, and the minimum, let's get the coordinates, it's going to be at -1, and then we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Oh, -7.5. Maybe. -7.5. Okay. So this is going to be, yeah, this one's a bad example. So -1, -7.5. X and then Y. Okay. So here, again, our minimum, right, is going to be at -1 going down 7.5. So our axis of symmetry is defined by this vertical line, which is x equals -1. This -1 right there. So now we can talk about the axis of symmetry, -1. Okay, and that's how you identify the key features of a graph. Okay, so let's try one more. Let's try this one. Okay, so just by looking at it, this parabola is going down, so we can say that this is concave down. Okay, so now let's look at the y-intercept. Again, when x is 0, what is the value of y? Well, this time it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, +5. Okay, that is going to be the y-intercept. So when x is 0, the value of y is 5. Okay, x and then y. Again, when x is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Y is 5. Y-axis, x-axis. Let's do the x-intercepts now. So again, the x-intercepts are the opposite of the y-intercepts. Now we want to see where the parabola cuts through the x-axis, right here. So here we have this point right there, and then we have this point right there. So let's count. 1, 2, okay, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So -10. So here, our x-intercepts are going to be at 2, 0, and then the other one, -10, 0. Okay. 2, 0, that's our x, y. And then -10 is our x, and then 0 again is our y. Okay. Those are the x-intercepts. So let's get the vertex now. So this time, again, if we're under the assumption that this parabola is going to go on forever from both directions, okay, in this scenario we can never attain a minimum, right? Because you can always find a value that is smaller, especially if you're going down. So here, the fascinating thing is that now we actually attain a maximum. Okay. Okay. So let me draw this axis of symmetry. Right? Because when you see the vertex, when you identify the minimum or the maximum, you just make a vertical line, and that's going to give you the axis of symmetry. And then we just count -1, -2, -3, -4. X equals -4 is our axis of symmetry. Okay, and then our vertex, well, our vertex is going to be this one, so it's going to be at -4, and now we have to count up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So -4 here, let me write this one in red. -4, and I think I said 9, right? 6, 7, 8, yeah, 9. Okay, and then there you have it. How to identify the key features when you're given a graph. Okay. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to plot a graph and then get these features. So see you then.